Thank you, Mr. Speaker. White ribbon saves lives. I thank you for your long-standing commitment to ending violence against women and girls. For those of you unfamiliar with their work, I'd like to read the following from White Ribbon's mission statement. We engage men and boys in the prevention of gender-based violence by promoting equity and transforming social norms. We challenge and support men and boys to realize their potential to be part of the solution in ending all forms of gender-based violence. Our vision, my vision, is a future free from gender-based violence. White Ribbon is the world's largest movement, Speaker, of men and boys working to end violence against women and girls and to promote gender equity, healthy relationships, and a new vision of masculinity. Since its inception in 1991, Toronto, the White Ribbon campaign has spread to over 60 countries around the world. White Ribbon asks men to wear white ribbons as a sign of their pledge to never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women and girls. White Ribbon campaign has partnered with countless organizations like Ontario Coalition for Rape Crisis Centres, with the Draw the Line campaign, and countless communities to bring your very powerful message to life. They also advocate for cross-cultural engagement, where while collaborating with community stakeholders, immigrants and newcomers participate in helping to build safer, violent-free communities where women and girls are respected, listened to, and valued. The Immigrant and Refugees Communities, Neighbours, Friends, Families campaign was launched in 2006. Men and boys trained through this program become White Ribbon NFF allies, who then, to quote White Ribbon, will flex their creativity and put their passion into practice. These men then lead gender-based violence education, awareness, and prevention programming. Let's return to the notion of flexing creativity. All too often, men and boys are encouraged to build and flex their muscles, their masculinity. This, in and of itself, feeds into the brute force masculine trope, one which has often served as a backdrop for toxic masculinity, one that often socializes boys and men into thinking they can't cry, or that a boy or man who dances in ballet isn't a real man, quote unquote, and that the strongest emotion men and boys can show is anger and a thirst for power and control. White Ribbon and their legendary White Ribbon campaign supports men and boys in learning how to flex their hearts, the hardest working muscle in our body. This government must wholeheartedly support the work of White Ribbon campaign, of White Ribbon, through funding that allows them to actually do this critical work on the ground. They are training our current and future positive bystanders. Yesterday was the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. December 6th will mark the 30th anniversary of the Montreal Massacre. There are also countless databases that suggest missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls across Canada to a count of almost 2,000. And not to mention 20 to 30 women are killed each year in Ontario, and that's just from intimate violence. Days of significance are great, but they don't go far enough. Women and girls, Black and racialized women and girls, First Nation, Métis, Inuit women and girls, lower income, disabled and trans women and girls must be on the agenda 365 days a year, especially this government's agenda and their budget. As I've previously said in this House, this government must create an interministerial gender equity strategy, inclusive of a fully costed response to gender-based violence, reflective of inflation. The funding cut that White Ribbon experienced in the spring from this government has had a significant impact on their organization's ability to grow and expand through educational curriculum, which is crucial for students. And while we know the government cares and is fond of what White Ribbon campaign stands for, that fondness must translate into funding, short-term, long-term, annualized funding. White Ribbon needs to do its preventative work. Preventative work is at the cornerstone of making a real, indelible mark in ending gender-based violence. When we don't fund accurately, when this government doesn't fund accurately, organizations lose their ability to grow, not only in scale, but in the depth of services they can provide to survivors and to men and boys who want to know better and learn better so they can do better and be part of the solution and not perpetrators of the problem. I thank you very much, White Ribbon, for all the work you've done. And to the government, remember, Cuts causing burnout to workers like White Ribbon Campaign doesn't create efficiency in Ontario. It's not better for people who are smarter for business. It's cruel. Let's do better, because one woman, one girl's life is too much.